Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hello everyone, Namaste. Welcome to the third video on Dhyana Yoga. In the second video, we had a glimpse of one-liner references and some of the chosen verses in the chapter. In today's video, we are going to take note of some of the keyword phrases and explore the meaning and context of some of the one-liner references. The keywords are on the screen now. He is both a renunciant and a Karma Yogi. One does not become a yogi by abstaining from work. One who has not renounced Samkalpa. Equanimity. One who has achieved yogic perfection. Do not let the self become depressed. One must elevate oneself. Mind is the friend of those who have control over it. Mind acts like an enemy for those who do not control it. Steadfast with the Supreme Self. Self-controlled and peaceful, tranquil in heat and cold, tranquil in pleasure and pain, tranquil in honor and dishonor, self-knowledge and self-realization, the unwavering, who is impartial towards others, constantly engage in contemplation, bring the mind and sense under control, become free from desires and proprietorship. Meditation to purify the mind and senses. Make your mind serene and fearless. Practice celibacy. Meditate with unseeing gaze. Whose mind is subdued attains peace. Stay moderate in eating, recreation, working, sleeping, and waking. Discipline mind. Become free from all desires. Get united with the self. Subdued thought absorbed in yoga, like a lamp in a windless place, self-beholding the self, infinite bliss. The next screen, beyond reach of the senses, perceivable only through the intellect, who does not regard any other gain superior to self-realization, does not move even by the greatest calamity, undesponding mind. The state of severance from union with sorrow is called yoga. Totally abandoning all Samkalpa, completely restraining the senses by the intellect. Keep the mind fully absorbed in the self, well-trained and purified intellect. Whenever restless and unsteady mind wanders, rein in it, bring it under the control of the self, who is sinless and of the nature of the eternal. Supreme bliss comes to a self-realized yogi. Sinless yogi enjoys the eternal bliss of contact with the self. Yogi sees the self abiding in all beings. Yogi sees all beings in the self. Yogi sees every being with an equal eye. Those who perceive me in everything. Those who behold everything in me, I am not separated from them. Who regards every being like oneself, non-dualists, who sees equality in everything. Mind is restless and difficult to restrain. Mind is subdued by constant spiritual practice. Mind is subdued by detachment. Yoga is attainable by the person of subdued mind. Spiritual practice never goes to waste. Regains knowledge from previous life. Yogi is superior to the ascetics. Now, on the screen, some of the one-liner references. Saṁnyāsī ca yogi ca na niragnirna cākriyaḥ. He is both a renunciant and a Karma Yogi, not he who doesn't perform Yajna and who abstains from ordained karma. Nahi asanyasta saṁkalpa yogi bhavati kaśchana. No one becomes a Karma Yogi who has not renounced selfish motive behind an action. Arurukshor muner yogam karma karanam uchyate. For a sage who is seeking yoga, action is called the means. Sarva saṁkalpa saṁnyāsī yoga rūಢas tadochyate. One who renounces all saṁkalpa is said to have achieved yogic perfection. Atmeva atmano bandhuhu atmeva ripuratmanaha. The mind is the friend of those who have control over it, and the mind acts like an enemy for those who do not control it. Sitoshna sukha dukkheshu tatha manava manayoha. In heat and cold, in pleasure and pain, in honor and dishonor. Yukta ityutyate yogi samaloštashma kanchanaha. A person is called yogi to whom a clod, a stone and gold are the same. Sadhushvapi cha papeshu samabuddhir visishyate. A person is considered superior who is impartial towards saints and sinners. Now, on the next screen, the references in detail. Sa saṁnyāsī ca yogi ca niragnirna cākriyaḥ. He is both a renunciant and a Karma Yogi, not he who doesn't perform Yajna and who abstains from ordained karma. Lord Krishna said, one who performs the prescribed duty without seeking its fruit for personal enjoyment is both a renunciant and a Karma Yogi. One does not become a renunciant merely by not performing Yajna, sacrifice, and other acts that are prescribed by Veda, and one does not become a yogi merely by abstaining from work. A seeker of emancipation who doesn't conceive Samkalpa to undertake a work, or who doesn't carry crave for fruits of work, and who performs his duties as an ordained karma is both a renunciant and a Karma Yogi. The way a charged electric wire holds the current invisibly, an intent seeker of emancipation should carry the equanimity for emancipation and perform every karma as an ordinance of Veda. Such a seeker will be called Karma Yogi. By embodying the crave for fruits of work, he becomes renunciant, and by performing selfless karma, he becomes actionless. At the same time, he constantly wastes the temperament for emancipation. However, one who abandons duty merely because it is difficult or because of fear of bodily affliction does not get the benefits of sacrifice by performing such a sacrifice in the mode of passion. Giving up one's duty is not proper. Yajna, charity, and austerity should not be abandoned because they are the purifiers of the wise. They should be performed without attachment to the fruits. Obligatory work performed as duty, renouncing selfish attachment to the fruit, is alone to be regarded as renouncement in the mode of goodness. The next reference, Nahe sanyascha sankalpa yogi bhavati kaschana. No one becomes a Karma Yogi who has not renounced selfish motive behind an action. Renunciation is the same as Karma Yoga because no one becomes a Karma Yogi who has not renounced the selfish motive behind an action. The path of self-knowledge and the path of selfless service both lead to the supreme goal. A person should be considered a true renunciant who has neither attachment nor aversion for anything. Whatever goal a renunciant reaches, a Karma Yogi also reaches the same goal. One who sees the path of renunciation and the path of unselfish work as the same really sees. The sage defines renunciation as abstaining from all desire-ridden work. The wise defines sacrifice as the sacrifice of and the freedom from selfish attachment to the fruits of all work. Renunciation of volition for fruits of karma or renunciation of karma for fruits of work is real karma. Hence, no one can become a Karma Yogi by not renouncing Samkalpa. A seeker of emancipation should never hold any motives whatsoever in every walk of his life. He should engage in spiritual practices to attain the highest good. The next reference, Arurukshor Muner Yogam Karma Karanam Uchyate. For a sage who is seeking yoga, action is called the means. For the wise who seek to attain yoga of meditation or the equanimity of mind, Karma Yoga is said to be the means. For one who has attained yoga, equanimity becomes the means of self-realization. The ordained karma like Yajna, charity, and austerity should be performed by the one who seeks yoga of meditation because such a divine karma purifies the intellect of a seeker. This in turn will help in the equanimity of mind, leading to the dawn of Dhyana. The seeker should ensure that these obligatory works should be performed without attachment to the fruits. Thus, for a seeker of equanimity of mind, Karma Yoga is said to be the means. For one who has attained yoga, equanimity becomes the means of self-realization because he is free from selfish attachment and has subdued the mind and senses. It becomes natural for him to remain in the yoga of meditation. The next reference, Sarva Samkalpa saṁnyāsī yogarūಢas tadochyate. One who renounces all Samkalpa is said to have achieved yogic perfection. A person is said to have attained yogic perfection when he or she has no desire for sensual pleasures or attachment to the fruits of work and has renounced all personal selfish motives. The seeker is free from volition for fruits of work and has no urge for sensual pleasures and is detached with all the three stages of karma because he considers them detrimental to his sadhana. Such a sadhaka is considered to have achieved yogic perfection and attained the yoga of meditation. The next reference, Atmaiva Hatmano Bandhu Atmaiva Ripuratmanaha. The mind is the friend of those who have control over it, and the mind acts like an enemy for those who do not control it. One must elevate and not degrade oneself by one's own mind. The mind alone is one's friend as well as one's enemy. The mind is the friend of those who have control over it, and the mind acts like an enemy for those who do not control it. It is not possible to achieve yoga of meditation unless one learns to achieve equanimity of mind. Hence, whenever this restless and unsteady mind wanders during meditation, one should witness it under the watchful eye of the self. Desires drive men to unstable destinations. The senses, the mind, and the intellect are the seat of lust. Lust dilutes a person by controlling the senses, the mind, and the intellect, and veils self-knowledge. Therefore, by controlling these senses, the material desires can be burnt in the fire of self-knowledge and self-realization. The senses are said to be superior to the body, the mind is superior to the senses, the intellect is superior to the mind, and the self is superior to the intellect. Thus, knowing the self to be the highest and controlling the mind by the intellect that is purified by spiritual practices, one must kill this mighty enemy lust with the true knowledge of the self so that the yogi can stay firm in yoga of meditation. Desireless mind wanders nowhere and helps his sadhaka in perpetual meditation. Who has learned to control the senses, which are the seat of lust, can reign in mind to experience uninterrupted meditation. The next reference, Sitoshna Sukha Dukkheshu Tatha Manavamanayoh. In heat and cold, in pleasure and pain, in honor and dishonor. This follows the previous reference. One who has control over the lowest self, the mind and senses, is tranquil in heat and cold, in pleasure and pain, in honor and dishonor, and remain ever steadfast with the Supreme Self. One who can ignore the mind can ignore entire world, though he is present amid worldly commotion. One who doesn't recognize modifications that take place in mind can stay firm against high tides in life. It could be heat and cold, pleasure and pain, or honor and dishonor. All these modifications are alive to someone who recognizes himself with the mind and who is ever alert to the modifications of the mind. One attains peace when all desires dissipate within the mind and without creating any mental disturbance, just as river waters enter the full ocean without creating any disturbance. One who desires material objects is never peaceful. The next reference, Yukta ityutyate yogi samaloštashma kanchanaha. A person is called yogi to whom a clod, a stone, and gold are the same. A person is called yogi who has both self-knowledge and self-realization, who is tranquil, who has control over the mind and senses, and to whom a clod and a stone and gold are the same. A self-realized person has no value for anything in the creation because he derives the highest bliss from his experience of self within. Having negated all non-self things in the creation and having attained self-knowledge, he doesn't find anything interesting to him. Thus, whether it is gold or even the wealth of the entire earth, it won't matter to him. He has control over the mind and senses and he is tranquil forever. He rejoices only with the Supreme Being, delighted with the Supreme Being, and is content with the Supreme Being alone. The next reference, Sadhushvapi cha papeshu samabuddhir visishyate. A person is considered superior who is impartial towards saints and sinners. A person is considered superior who is impartial toward companions, friends, enemies, neutrals, arbiters, haters, relatives, saints, and sinners. He rejoices only with the Supreme Being. He has no interest whatsoever in what is done or what is not done. A self-realized person does not depend on anybody except God. Thus, he doesn't discriminate anyone or anything. He is impartial toward saints and sinners. With this, I close today's video. I hope you find the videos informative in your learning. We will continue our understanding of Dhyana Yoga through further videos. If you have any questions, please let me know the same in the comments below. I will respond to them appropriately in the spirit of Bhagavan's teachings. Let us remember the sacred words. Bhagavad Gita is the ultimate spiritual